anniversary of Lord Varaha, and we heard that Radhika, the song that she sang, was part of the Dashavatara Stotra, glorifying Lord Varaha. There are many incarnations of Krishna, and Lord Varaha specifically appeared. Do you know why he appeared? Anybody? Usually Krishna appears, it's in Bhagavad Gita, it usually helps to do things. But because the earth had fallen to the nether regions, lower part of the universe, You know, it had fallen because it had gone out of its orbit because there's a demon by the name of, what was his name? Hiranyaksha, who was the brother of Hiranyakashipu, who was associated with Prahlad Maharaj. And he liked to drill deeply in the earth, caused a disturbance in the orbit, so it fell into the nether regions below. And so Krishna incarnated just to lift the earth back. And the nether regions of the universe, what goes into the bottoms are kind of dirty. Okay? So what goes into dirty places? What kind of being goes into dirty places? Come on, are you listening? Yeah. Pigs do. Of course, when Krishna appears in every species of life. God appears, not just humans. He appears in every species of life. But and when he appears in these species of life, he doesn't become like if he appears in a horse incarnation. How you agree? He doesn't become horse-like, but he's completely transcendental. Similarly, when he appears in this incarnation as Varaha, even though he has activities that are involved with going down to the bottom of the universe, he never becomes hog-like. He's completely transcendental. So he fought with Hiranyaksha, defeated him, and rescued the earth, and put it back in its proper position. That was Varaha. But today, since tomorrow is Lord Nityananda's appearance day, and many people came here today that probably won't be here tomorrow. I thought we would speak today a little bit about Lord Nityananda. And of course we can hear, there's millions of things we can hear about Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda, and Lord Varaha, especially because it's very relevant. Lord Nityananda is very relevant to us today. I thought we'd speak today. And so here you have a prayer to Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda that we'll sing. It goes, is it up there? Yeah. It's in Bengali language. It goes, Parama Karuna. Like I say, you say, okay? Parama Karuna. Prabhu Dvijan. Nitai Gaura Chandra. Do you know anybody know what that means? Yes.
They are the most compassionate Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda.
Parama means topmost. Karuna means mercy. Topmost mercy. Pahu means lords. Dvi, these two, Dvijana means two lords. Dvijana. Pahu Dvijana, these two lords. Who are that? Nitai Gaura Chandra, Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. Why is that? Shab avatar, of all avatar, Shar. Shar means the cream, or Shiromani means the crest jewel. Like the British took the whole Pope diamond. The best, the crown jewel. This is the crown jewel of all incarnations. Why? Kevala Ananda Kanda. Kevala Ananda Kanda means because they gave a process of self-realization that is joyful, happy, blissful. You can do it just like we did. You were doing it. Some of you here were chanting and dancing, and I saw some people were even clapping their hands because it's fun, and it becomes more fun the more you do it. That's the nature of spiritual activity. So then, what is next here? Bhaja Bhaja Bhai there? Bhaja Bhaja Bhai means worship. Chaitanya Nitya, Lord Chaitanya Nityananda. Sudridha, Dridha means with determination. Sudridha means very determined. Vishvas, faith. Kori, with great faith and determination. Bishaya Charya. Bishaya means selfish motives, envious motives, sense gratification. Chadiya, reject those things. Bishaya Chadiya, Sera Semajiya, and try to relish. Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari, and with your mouth. Mukhe means mouth. Mouth. Chant Hari Hari. Mukhe bolo Hari Hari. Yeah. Very nice. This is very, then next line. Dekha. Dekha. It's the same in Hindi, right? Dekha. Look. Dekha. Look. Dekha ore bhai. Oh, everybody. Look. Bhai, brothers, sisters, yeah. Tribhuvanenai. In all the three worlds, Emon Dayaladat. You won't find anybody as doyal, as merciful as these two. Pashu, Paki Jure. Pashu means animal. Paki, birds. Isn't it birds? Yeah. Jure. They're chanting. They're also singing. When Lord Chaitanya went to, he traveled from Puri to Vrindavan. He went to Vrindavan. There's what's the state now where he had to travel through? It's called Jharkhand. Especially at that time, and even now, I think there's a lot of jungles there with lions, tigers, elephants, all kinds of stuff. And so when he was traveling there, sometimes there were the tigers were there, the deers were there. So Lord Chaitanya would get the tigers and the elephants to chant, all those animals to chant. Pashana Vidari means even the stones would melt. Shuni Jad Gunagata, by hearing the qualities and the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Okay. Samsara Majia Rohidi Podia, Je Podino Hiro Asha. Only thing is, I'm caught, you and me both are caught in this cycle of birth and death. So I'm pleased. So please, you lift me, Lord Chaitanya Nityananda, out of this miserable life of samsara. Okay, so we'll sing this. I'll sing, you sing. Parama Koruna Pahudujana. Srila Prabhupada used to sing this prayer before speaking about Lord Chaitanya Nityananda. Usually, before classes, Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, who started the Hare Krishna movement, would sing, what would he usually sing? Jai. Yeah, Jai Radha Madhava. So we usually do that. But when we speak about Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, we sing this prayer. Parama Karuna Pahurijan Nitai Gaurachandra Parama Karuna Pahurijan Nitai Parama Karuna Pahurijan Nitai Gaurachandra Parama Karuna Pahurijan Nitai Gaurachandra Shabavatar Shar Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda Shashiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda Bhaj Bhaj Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudritha Vishwas Gauri Bhaja Bhaja Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudritha Vishaya Chariya Sera Se Majiya Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari Vishaya Chariya Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari Dekha Ore Bhai Tribhuvanenai Emono Doyalo Data Dekha Ore Bhai Tribhuvanenai jar Guragata Shuni jar Guragata Sansara Magia Rohili Podia Se pode no hiro asha Apana koroma bunjaye shamana kohoye lochana dasa Nitai Gaurachandra Parama Karuna Pahudvijan Nitai Gaurachandra Shab Avatar Shar Shiramani Kevala Ananda Kanda Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajak Acharya Ashtottara Shri the Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Prem Se Kaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Gaur Premanande All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Putare Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Janamane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Gacharya Devi Shesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Vishataya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 I picked a different verse for today. Often we read from Bhagavad Gita or sometimes Srimad Bhagavatam, but today I picked a verse from the Mahabharata. Is it there? Yes, Mahabharata. So it's a very famous verse. Maybe some of you know this verse. It's a very good verse to know. I'll say a line, you say a line, and we'll practice it. Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna. Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna. Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna. Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna. Nasa vrishiryasya matang na bhinnam. Nasa vrishiryasya matang na bhinnam. Nasa vrishiryasya matang na bhinnam. Dharmasya tattvang nihitam guhayam. Dharmasya tattvang nihitam guhayam. Mahajano jina gatasya pantha. Mahajano jina gatasya pantha. Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna Nasa vrishiryasya matam na binham Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya Mahajano jena gata sapanta Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna Nasa vrishiryasya matam na binnam Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya Mahajano jena gata sapanta
Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna Nasa rushiryasya matam na binnam Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam Mahajano yena gata sapanta
Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna Nasa rushiryasya matam na bhinnam Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya Mahajano yena gata sapanta
Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna
Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna
Nasa matam na binnam
Nasa vrishiryasya matam na binnam
Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya
Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya
Mahajano yena gata sapanta
Mahajano jena gata sapanta Please.
Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna
Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna
Nasa vrishiryasya matam na binnam
Nasa vrishiryasya matam na binnam
Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya
Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya
Mahajano yena gata sapanta
Mahajano jena gata sapanta
Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna
Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna
Nasa vrishiryasya matam na binna
Nasa vrishiryasya matam na binnam
Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam
Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya
Mahajano yena gata sabhanta
Mahajano jena gata sapanta
Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna
Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna
Nasa vrishiryasya matam na binnam
Nasa vrishiryasya matam na binnam
Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya
Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya
Mahajano yena gata sapanta
Tarka Dry argument Apratishta Not fixed Shrutaya Vedas Vibhinna Possessing different departments Na Not Asao That Rishi Great sage Yasya Whose Matam Opinion Not Bhinnam Separate Dharmasya of religious principles Tattvam Truth Nihitam Placed Guhaya in the heart of a realized person Mahajana self-realized predecessors Yena by which way Gata acted Sa that Panta, the pure unadulterated path. Translation. I might have a different translation, but it's okay. Dry arguments are inconclusive. A great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is not considered a great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, one cannot understand religious principles. The truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of an unadulterated, self-realized person. Consequently, as the Shastras confirm, one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajans advocate. Om Jnana Timidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kata Manjam Dadati Shah Pandantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Thank you for coming here today on Sunday. I know you have many other businesses and things to do, but you took time out to come to the Hare Krishna temple. I thank you very much. This verse, I think many of you have heard this verse before. Yeah. It's a famous verse that was spoken in a discussion between Yudhishthira Maharaj when they were just before they went to Agyatavas, or they had to live incognito for a year. He was being questioned by a yaksha, which is a kind of a supernatural being, who was actually Yamaraj, the Lord of Death in disguise. He was asked so many things. And so then when he was asked, how can you understand what is the true path of religion? Because there's so many different religions, right? And everybody says ours is the best. So how do you know what to really do? This one says this way, this one says this way, isn't it? So this was Yudhishthira Maharaj's answer, which satisfied Yamaraj. He said, you have to find the self-realized person, the great person, and that in this verse, the Sanskrit for that is, you know, you catch what the Sanskrit for that self-realized great person is. What is that? What is that? No, Mahajan. And Panta means their path. You follow their path. You find a self-realized person, a great person, and you follow their path. The path chalked out by that person, you're there, you see their activities and you follow that. That's how you can understand the principles and understand religion. You follow. This is Yudhishthira Maharaj. So, traditionally, there are 12 Mahajans. They're described in a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, which some of you know. It goes like this. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu. Swayambhu means Brahma. Many of you know Narad Muni, great sage among the demigods. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu means Lord Shiva. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumar, the four Kumar, especially Sanat Kumar. Kumar, Kapila, Lord Kapila, Manu, Swayambhuva Manu, the father of mankind. Prahlad is the devotee of Lord Nityananda. Prahlad. Janaka, father of Sita. Prahlad, Janaka, Bhishma, Bali Maharaj, Vyasaki is Shukadev Goswami. Vayam means us, us. Who's us? The speaker was at this, the speaker was for this verse? Yamaraj. So all these are traditionally accepted as 12 great Mahajans that you can follow. But this list is not exhaustive. There are other Mahajans as well. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes a similar word as, another word, a synonym for Mahajan is Mahatma, right? Mahatma. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bahunam janmanam ante gyanavam mam prapadyante vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudulabha. After many births of trying to acquire knowledge, one who actually gets knowledge, that person surrenders to me. Such a great soul, the Mahatma, such a great soul is very rare. So anybody who's surrendered to Krishna fully understands Krishna, that's a Mahatma. In another verse, Krishna describes Mahatmanas tu mam partha daivim prakritim ashruta. And the Mahatma, a Mahajan, is someone who's taken shelter, fully taken shelter of the divine energy. Srimati Radharani, of the divine energy. Satatam kirtiyantoma. And that Mahajan is somebody who's always chanting my glories. These are very good descriptions given by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So, therefore, we talk about Mahajans. Lord Nityananda, who accompanied Lord Chaitanya in his pastimes on the earth just a few hundred years ago, is called, you know what he's called? Nityananda Mahajan. Nityananda Mahajan, isn't it? Yeah, so we can add him to the list. We can add him to the list. And, there's so many important spiritual personalities that people are aware of. Most people from India know of Krishna. They know of Buddha. Around the world, people know Jesus Christ, Hazrat Muhammad, etc. But even more relevant to today, perhaps, you can think of, is the most recent incarnation of God is Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. They're relevant to modern times. Just a short time ago, they appeared. And Lord Nityananda's appearance day, Nityananda Mahajan's appearance day, is tomorrow. So I thought we'd take today to take a look at the path or the road that he chalked out, like the Mahajans do, right? I don't know if you've ever seen a road that hasn't been used, hasn't been maintained for a long time. What happens? Have you seen one of these roads? The government doesn't, the government, usually sometimes you find them through the forest. They've abandoned it. What happens to that road? I'm asking.
They fall apart.
Yeah, the pavement starts to crumble, crack, because, there's shifting in the earth a little bit, and so then there's, the heat and the cold of the winter and the summer, they make it crack. And then what happens in the cracks?
Grass.
Things grow up, right? Weeds and stuff grows up, and then the curb starts to crumble, and then after a while, if you try to go across the road, what happens? You can't do it. It becomes impassable, isn't it? Yeah. So every once in a while, it's got to get maintained. It's got to be resurfaced, right? Otherwise, the road becomes impassable. So the same thing is true about the path of religion. You follow? Yeah. So it's not a different path isn't being created by these Mahajans or by Nityananda Mahajan. It's not a new path. It's the same path, but it has to be resurfaced so that we can use it over time. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Palitranaya sadhunam vinashaya duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge. In every age, he's coming to lead us back and to reestablish this path, so that we can understand and make progress to the ultimate goal of the human life. The ultimate goal of the human life is to go back to Godhead, back to Krishna, to free ourselves from the cycle of repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. It should be so. The personality of Godhead every once in a while reblazes the trail of going back to Godhead by descending to earth himself along with his associates. It's not a new path, unlike the rishis who come up with new paths or new ideas and tax their brains to come up with different kind of newfangled religious processes. It's the same road. The essential basics of the path are the same. What are the basics of that path? Give up all varieties of religion and surrender to me. Yeah. Sarva dharman parityajya. Mam ekam sharanam. These are the basics of the path. Practice and learn how to always remember Krishna and never forget him. That's the essence. Yes. Worship him, manmana, bhavamad bhakto, become my devotee, become God's devotee, surrender to him, offer obeisances to him, surrender. Yeah. This is the basic principles. These things, they don't adjust. But according to the different times and places, there may be slight adjustments, even though the basic path is the same. Over in time and circumstance, there may be slight adjustments to this path. And so that slight adjustment that Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya made to the same eternal religious path, or Sanatana Dharma, is, you know what that adjustment is? In Kali Yuga, the most rapid spiritual progress that you can make, regularly chanting the holy names of God. It's true everywhere. But this is Kali Yuga, this is the path. There's no other path. This is it. This is the thing. So particularly, not just chanting, but particularly congregational means together. Lots of people together. I mean, chanting the holy names of God. Together. Like we did a few minutes ago, and we're going to do it again later. Yeah. Krishna Varanam Tvisha Krishnam Sangupangasva Parshnam Jagya Sankirtana Praya Yanti Suvedasa. In this age of Kali, Lord Krishna appears in a golden form, not blackish, always chanting the holy names, along with his associates, who are his weapons, and associates, his weapons. And he propagates the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra congregationally. So actually, I mean, those people who take Krishna consciousness seriously, they take about a chant on beads, how many times?
Minimum 16.
Minimum 16 times, 16 rounds a day, which is like a couple of hours it takes. But besides that, the Hare Krishna movement isn't the japa movement. It's never called the japa movement. You know what it's called? The Sankirtan movement. The Sankirtan movement. Because it's for people, it's to facilitate you and I and everyone to come together to chant together the holy names of God. And it's very interesting because the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself and his associates all did this. They took time out. They took time out of their busy schedules. They had lots of other stuff to do. You can imagine. What is the business of God? You can imagine how many things are under his purview, right? But they specifically took time out. Not just Lord Chaitanya, but all. Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Srivas, Adi, all the devotees, they took time out every day. Every day to congregationally chant the holy names of God, isn't that? We were talking about Mahajano Jaina Gata Sapanta. What is the path? This is we're talking about. This is the path. This is the path. So Lord Nityananda descended along with Lord Chaitanya from the spiritual world to assist Lord Chaitanya to induce you, me, and everybody to chant enthusiastically, congregationally, the holy names of the Lord. Did you know, sometimes people take, have you taken a train in India before? I don't know if it's still like this, but yeah, of course. It used to be almost impossible to get on a train. You had to get like a month, 2 months ahead of time, or 3 months ahead of time to book. So, okay. But there's also another train. It's called I don't know if you've heard of this train, if you can get tickets. It's called the Vaikuntha Express. Have you heard of that train? Have you heard of the train, the Vaikuntha Express? Yeah, it's there. So there's the Vaikuntha Express. And the locomotive engineers are Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. And the conductor is Srila Prabhupada. And the rails of the railway are two, Bhagavad Vidhi and Pancharatriki Vidhi. Service to the deities and service to the Bhagavad, the preaching. These two are the two rails of the railroad, and you can go back to Godhead. If you can get a ticket on the Vaikuntha Express. I don't know if you don't miss the Express. I mean, actually I had a dream about this the other day, about going on the Vaikuntha Express, and there's so many devotees that said, come on, let's go. You can go. What's the ticket? The ticket is great enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, you have to want it. You're not going to get a ticket if you don't want it. It's not just going to pop in your hand. You have to want to get the ticket, and you got to have enthusiasm, and follow the footsteps of the Mahajans. Nityananda Mahajan means chant congregationally the holy name of the Lord. Yeah. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur said, Golokera Prema Dhan Harinam Sankirtan. This holy name, chanting, has come. You know where it comes from? From Golok, the spiritual world. It's come, this vibration, this powerful, powerful vibration. Harinam Sankirtan. It's coming from the spiritual world. Golokera Prema Dhan Harinam Sankirtan. Then he says, you know the next line of this verse? What is it? Ratina janme kilenotai. But unfortunately, I have no interest or attraction or interest in it. No, I don't like it. Just like sometimes we start the kirtan, as soon as we start the kirtan, everybody finds an excuse to go someplace else. It happens. Or make a cameo appearance. Yeah, the thing is, that's our condition. In the beginning of our spiritual life, we don't like to engage in spiritual activities. You know why? Because our hearts are full of greed, lust, envy, and we don't like to disturb that. So if we get a little, we come a little in contact with something spiritual, okay. Well, we'll leave very, very quickly. Why do we have no taste? Well, one thing is, in order to get a taste for chanting the holy names, we have to. There's some basic rules and regulations. There are 4 principles that if you follow these principles, then you can get you can get a taste, at least the beginning of the taste of chanting. But if you don't follow, it's very difficult. It's like if you want to light a fire while you're pouring water on the fire, that's going to work, right? It's not very good. You have wet wood, it doesn't work. So the 4 principles are, as you might know, no eating of meat, fish, or eggs. These are the reasons we don't get taste, if we don't do this. No eating meat, fish, or eggs. No illicit sex. No intoxication, and no gambling. If we follow these principles, it brings us to a level of goodness. And when we hear the chanting of the holy name, and we chant the holy name in congregation, it has stronger effect. We'll see. Okay. That's number 1 reason. Number 2 reason is that we don't have taste, interest is because we're too preoccupied with material life. We don't have any time. No time to do it. We're too busy. We can't even do it even once weekly. It's too hard after a long day of work to chant holy name. But Rupa Goswami Nectar Goshen says, how do you advance your Krishna consciousness? How do you advance it spiritual? You have to arrange your life, in such a way that you can remember Krishna all the time. Arrange your life in such a way that you can remember Krishna. So we have to, this is the medicine. This is the medicine to cure material disease. So we got to find a way to get the medicine. We got it. This is the medicine. You have to find a way. Our process is in the beginning of spiritual life. We have no taste. Yes, we recognize that. That's called Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means we follow rules and regulations, and it's duty. We have to do it. We may not have any taste, but we got to do it. Krishna describes it more fully in Bhagavad Gita. He says, you know the verse? Bishaya vinivartante. You know this verse? Bishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasovarjam rasopyasya paramdrishtani vartate. If in the beginning, spiritual life means you got to restrict yourself from unnecessary sense enjoyment. Stop that and engage in spiritual life. And if you do that over time, then you'll get a higher taste. You'll get the taste. Narottam Das Thakur said, I have no taste. He had taste. He's just telling it for us. He's giving it. Yeah. So we have no taste, but we have to regularly do the sadhana, the Vaidhi Bhakti, so that we can get a taste. If we don't do it regularly, of course we'll not get a taste. No possibility of getting a taste. We have to do the Harinam Kirtan regularly. Yeah. Then there's another reason. There's three. The first one was following the principles. The second was you got to do it. You got to actually do it. Take the time. And then the third big obstacle in getting the taste, you know what that is? Yeah. There are 10 offenses in chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And if you can avoid, you have to avoid those offenses, and then you get rapid progress. I don't know if you know these offenses. I don't know if you know them. One of them I was just mentioning was, which is sometimes called the last one, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions in this manner. Have you heard that offense? Yeah. That means, I know. You're telling me, you're browbeating me here today that you got to have regular chanting and stuff. But I got too many things to do. This is maintaining material attachment. That's not. Then there's other ones, some other offenses. We might necessarily go over all 10 of them, but some other. I don't know if you know some of these offenses. To consider the names of demigods, like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu or Krishna. So, sometimes you'll find people, there was a famous Kirtaniya, I saw a tape and they were saying, some people say you should chant only Krishna, not Shiva. So he says, Shiva, Krishna, it's all the same. It's not all the same. Krishna says, Mam Ekam. Ekam means only. Yeah. Krishna's name is certainly the demigods are important beings. They're very great beings, but they're not the supreme. Eka Ishwar Krishna Ar Sab Britta. There's one Supreme Lord, and everybody else is servant. Yeah, you know this. Okay, so these are to disobey the orders of the spiritual master, and these are offenses. And there's another offense. It's called sadhu ninda. I don't know if you've heard this offense. This is called blaspheming devotees who have dedicated their lives to propagating the holy names of the Lord. These are dangerous. This is one that's called. In some places in India, in South India, you have like big elephants, and in Assam you have elephants, right? And sometimes the elephants get a little crazy, and then what do you have? A mad elephant, and the mad elephant stomps over everything, stomps everything, right? This is the mad elephant event, sadhu ninda. In America, usually people, if they want to insult you, they insult you to your face. In India, they go behind your back. Except if you're Shishupal. Shishupal. You know Shishupal? Yeah, he really went off whack, and he was insulting Krishna to his face. But generally speaking, I'm saying generally speaking, but of the two, there's always something negative to say, berating people behind the back. this is a very dangerous thing to do. Why? Because you'll never get taste for chanting the holy names. This is a big problem. So these are things to guard against. So I want to tell one story about Lord Nityananda before we finish. It's a very instructive story because we're talking about the path that Lord Nityananda chalked out for us, and how to make progress in spiritual life, and it involves chanting the holy names and stuff. Okay, so the author of the biography, the most famous biography of Lord Chaitanya is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And in the end, he gives a personal story about how he came to write the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Just like when you give a talk, it's a good idea to throw in some personal information because it's very relevant, becomes relevant. So in the end, in the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the end of the first volume, part, Adi, he talks about how he came to be the author. And he starts out by saying, actually, I don't know if you've heard of Jagai Madai. I think there's a play about Jagai Madai tomorrow. These were very, very nasty murder type. There's the Me Too campaign. They were much worse than Me Too. They were really bad characters. But their sins were unlimited. But they injured Lord Nityananda, but Lord Nityananda, by his mercy, he forgave them and got Lord Chaitanya to accept them if they stopped their nasty business. Anyway, okay. So Krishnadas Kaviraj says in the beginning, I am more sinful than Jagai Madai. You know this? I am more sinful than Jagai Madai. I am lower than the worm in stool. And this wasn't like fake, we're very good at fake humility, we're very good at that. He really understood. I'm lower than the worm in stool. Anybody who hears my name, immediately his pious activities are finished. And anybody who says my name is going to go to hell. That's how he starts out. This is a symptom of a person who's actually spiritually advanced. They become very humble. Anyway. So then he tells about, he had a brother, and they were living together in Bengal, and they were having a 24-hour kirtan in their house. Sometimes people have 24 hours. This is a spiritual kind of activity. Harinam kirtan, 24 hours. So during the kirtan, there was a devotee, a great devotee of Lord Nityananda that came there. I don't know if you remember his name. Miniketan or Ramdas. Very elevated associate of Lord Nityananda. In fact, he was an incarnation of Sankarshan. So when he came, even though devotees were involved in chanting and different things, he was playing, he had his flute, and so many of the devotees, they came and they were offering respects because he was a great devotee of Lord Nityananda. You know this? Except there was a pujari in the house who was employed by Krishnadas Kaviraj's brother. You know this? And this pujari, he was busy. He said, I don't have to offer obeisance. So he didn't. He ignored him. Miniketan Ramdas. You know this? This is a very interesting story. So when Krishnadas Kaviraj saw this, he said, must be the influence my brother is giving him. He knew my brother accepts Lord Chaitanya. He accepts him as a Supreme Personality of God, but he doesn't accept Lord Nityananda. He accepts Lord Chaitanya, but he doesn't accept Lord Nityananda. This is the philosophy. I wrote it down here. Where is it? Ardha Kikutu Nyaya. You know that? You know this? The philosophy of half a hen. You know the philosophy of half a hen? Very interesting philosophy. There's a farmer. He had a hen. And, he wasn't too wealthy. So he thought, well, taking a look at he examined the hen. And, he's feeding the front part of the hen. And the eggs are coming out of the back part of the hen. Right? So what does he like to do? A very intelligent guy. He thinks, if I cut the hen in half, get rid of the front part. I won't have to feed it, and I'll get the eggs then, right? Right? This is the philosophy of half a hen. This is the philosophy of half a hen, right? Okay. So the tendency is to do that within spiritual life. The tendency is to do that. Oh, I'll take this part of Bhagavad Gita. I like this part of Bhagavad Gita, but I don't like that. I like the part where Krishna says there's reincarnation, but I don't like the part where he says surrender to me. Yeah, this is the philosophy of it. I like the no eating of meat, fish, or eggs, but I don't like the no illicit sex or the no intoxication. You understand? This is the philosophy of half a hen. So Krishna Das Kaviraj told us he rebuked his brother. This is the philosophy of half. How can you accept Lord Chaitanya without accepting Lord Nityananda? Because they're all part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Panchatattva Vakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktapkyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Lord Chaitanya comes with all of his associates, and they're all part of the same mission. Sometimes somebody can get married and say, well, I like you, but I don't like your mom. Well, it's going to be a problem, I'm telling you. It's going to be a problem. I mean, that's a material example. You understand. I mean, mothers-in-law have a hard time, I know that. But this is, Lord Chaitanya comes along with their Nityananda, and they have the same mission. The same, so you can't get half a hand. Therefore, when we chant the holy names of God, we start off by saying, I don't know if you know this, we chant obeisances to our Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and then we chant Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. That's called the Panchatattva Maha Mantra. Everybody is the Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Advaita, all those. Yeah. So what happened was, Krishna Das Kaviraj rebuked his brother. And he said, if you continue in this mentality, you're going to fall down. Now, you understand, this brother, he was holding the kirtan, the 24-hour kirtan in the house. I mean, think about it. It's not just, he wasn't just a nobody. So then, that night, in a dream, Lord Nityananda appeared to Krishna Das Kaviraj. You know this? He appeared to his beautiful form, and he came with all of his gopals, and they were, you know what Lord Nityananda was doing when he appeared in his dream? Anybody guess? Come on. He was chanting, huh? Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Of course, Lord Nityananda. He was chanting. So Lord Nityananda said, because you have properly rebuked your brother, think about it. Because you've properly rebuked your brother, therefore I am coming to you. I have appeared to you. Now I give you the instruction, you go to Vrindavan, and in Vrindavan you will get all things, all your spiritual desires will be fulfilled. And that very day, as soon as he woke, you know what he did? He packed, went to Vrindavan. Yeah, and there he had the mercy of Lord Nityananda, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. He became fully realized person by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So we have to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda to get the mercy of Krishna. So I was saying that there was, these different obstacles to get the taste of chanting the holy names of God. Right? Remember we were talking about it? One was the offenses. Well, it's very interesting that there's 10 offenses in chanting the holy names. But if you chant the full Panchatattva Maha Mantra, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda don't take any of your offenses. There's no offense. You can clear your offenses by chanting this first and then chanting the holy name. That doesn't mean you can commit offenses, any of those offenses, but still, to clear the offenses that you have already, you must chant Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Yeah. And then you can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Yes, thank you. So this is, I was talking about the path that Lord Nityananda created, resurfaced, brought along with Lord Chaitanya. There's the Vaikuntha Express. I'd invite you to please get tickets on the Vaikuntha Express if you don't have any of your tickets yet. They'll be for sale shortly. Okay. Any questions, comments, statements? We're pretty much on time, a little bit late. But nothing? Nothing? Yes, sir. Oh, good.
You mentioned about the offenses towards the holy name and also towards Vaishnavas.
Yeah.
So just trying to understand what is the root cause of the offense. We are conditioned, I don't know if that is the root cause. And second one, how to deal with those root causes to make an effort not to offend holy name and devotees.
Yeah. The root cause of our offenses is our material contamination, as you say. Yeah. In the material world, we all tend to be envious of others to a greater or lesser degree. Always. This is our contamination. Where does it come from? It's a reflection of our envy of Krishna. Yes? Yeah. Icha, dvesha, samutena, dvandva, mohena, bhavata. Because we're all beings meant to be in the spiritual world, but because we thought, Krishna, why should Krishna be the center? Why should he be? Krishna says, Bhoktaram yagyatapa samsara. I am the enjoyer of all sacrifice. Why just Krishna? I remember in the temple in New York, there was one guy who came and said, why do you just worship Krishna? Why do you just worship Krishna? This is why just Krishna? We also want to be. So this is icha dvesh. Dvesh means envy. So because of that envy of Krishna, we come to the material world, and so that's our habit. Our habit is Krishna, envy of other living beings. That's our habit. That we have to break the habit. In spiritual life, you see somebody doing some nice service, and you say, "That is wonderful, very good. I wish I could do that too." In the material world, we think somebody's doing nice service. We've got to criticize that person. What a jerk that person is. He can't really do a good thing. He or she isn't doing something. That's called envy. That's called envy. Yeah. So first we have to be able to be aware of it, and then regular chanting in the association of devotees is the method to free ourselves from that envy. Cheto darpana marjana cleanses the Sankirtan cleanses the heart. And of course we can also pray, recognize that we're that way. I mean, there's so many prayers in the Vaishnava. There's prayers by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Narottam Das Thakur and Lochan Thakur, Das Thakur that we say. That, recognizing our condition, please free me from envies of, it's called Jiva Hingsa. Jiva Hingsa means envy or malice towards other beings. It's our habit. Chanting. Especially chanting congregationally. So, find some place where you can chant congregationally. If not here, someplace. Chant congregationally regularly. In the olden days, in ISKCON, when people joined ISKCON, every day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, there was congregational chanting. That's how the movement began. And Lord Chaitanya, how did he begin the movement? He had all of his associates came to Srivasanga. And what did they do? Every night, every single night, for hours and hours, they were chanting the holy name. And then after that, after they were chanting together for like 2 years, then the movement started spreading. Then they went out, and they had the big kirtan on the way to Chankasi, where there was hundreds of thousands of people there. So it began with this regular congregational chanting. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.